So what I'm going to do is record videos about each sub-project in Noble Ape. And the first sub-project to come out of Noble Ape was a project called EcoSim. And EcoSim was a simulation that was designed to teach ecology, biodiversity, these kind of things to high school students. And I was contacted by a high school teacher in 1997 who wanted to have, not necessarily like a Noble Ape Lite, but just to have a version of Noble Ape that was specifically designed for teaching ecology. What EcoSim is I think there are 14 different plants and animal species, if I've got it right, maybe 14, maybe 16, something in that order. And what you're describing is growth rate and predation rate of each of these components. Now, it forms not a food web, what would you call it, like a tree of a hierarchical tree associated with consumption, basically. So you've got the apes at the top, you've got cats, you've got fish, you've got various kinds, you've got like seed-eating birds and insect-eating birds, and you have all these relationships that these various creatures have with each other. And then I think you've got grasses, you've got berry bush, you've got various plant species as well, and ants and eating insects, and no, maybe not ants eating insects. Anyway, you've got all these species of animals, basically, plants and critters, and a hierarchy associated with the consumption. And the students select growth rates and select breeding rates and select consumption rates. Well, ultimately growth rates and breeding rates. So they select growth rates / breeding rates and consumption rates, and then they run it and they see how long the ecology lasts for. And ultimately what you find is the more biodiversity you have in a system, not necessarily the stability of the system, but it just loops, it goes on longer because you'll have certain spikes and then something will come and eat that spike, and it'll go on for a long period of time. So EcoSim was a collaboration that I did with a graphic designer at the time who actually graphic designed the original Noble Ape logo. And it was really an interesting experiment in teaching kids principles of biodiversity through a simulation. So what exists on GitHub now, which is where the source code is held for EcoSim, is a lot of the original source code and a lot of experiments in biodiversity that went on following this, and some changes in the mathematics and this kind of stuff. But EcoSim was probably the first serious sub-project from Noble Ape.